I'm feeling low today, and I thought I might just share with you my process of processing my emotions where like it doesn't affect my goals that much. Like it will affect, but in a lower rate. So hopefully this, and I know it will help someone out there. So when I say low, I mean like you feel sad or you feel a little bit underachieving, or you feel you don't feel great. Yeah, I think that's the way to say it. And it's okay to not feel great sometimes. I know you guys probably like think depression is bad. No, this is not depression. This is just not feeling great. Here are the steps for my process in order for me to get to understand what I'm feeling and then fix it. Or I want to, if I don't want to, if I decide I don't want to fix it, it's also an option. So I identify, and then I isolate, and then I evaluate, and then I communicate, or I don't communicate sometimes, and I just continue pursuing my goals. So let me just try to explain each step by its own, because each step has different actionable things that you have to do, or I personally do, or I used to do. So in the first step is just identifying why you are feeling low. I personally, I would recommend you stay alone in the room. I used to stay alone in the room, and I still like, if I want to identify it first, I close my head also sometimes. Like if I'm outside, I just don't want to speak to no one. I just want to be on my own so that I can identify where is it coming from. And then you need a pen and paper, and you write whatever thought you go through your mind. Now I would say this process is for if you are just starting out, and if you do journaling, or you quite have a little bit of high awareness, then you can observe your thoughts without judging it, which is fine. And usually you will see that when you feel low, your thoughts go toward some specific negative things, and then you can identify that as your low point. I'm gonna give you an example, but before I go to an example, I know some of you have a high awareness and they don't have to go like this on pen and paper, and that's fine. So one example is I was in a situation last week where there's something that happened with the boss, and then he shouted, and then I raised my voice with him. In that situation, at the same time, I just didn't want to speak because I didn't want to act on my emotions, so I had to shut the fuck up, and I tried to identify where is it coming from. And then the next point is you need to isolate it. Like don't mix the problems with different problems. Like he shouted at me. That's a problem on itself. That's something to make me feel low. But the real deep reason wasn't for him fucking shouting. I don't care, man, about him shouting. Anybody can shout. I don't give a fuck, alright? This is We Don't Give a Fuck Nation coming soon, by the way. I'm plugging my shit over here. So the deepest reason was I'm wasting my potential. I could be mastering some other high skills, and I'm just making some pasta over there. Like, what the fuck? The next step was it's a evaluation, whether it's like I'm feeling low because of the situation, or is it because of the person, or is it because of both? And usually people think it's the person. But I told you it's just a situation, and by situation I mean it's either something. It's usually something internal, all right. Like in my case, I wasn't feeling low because of him. I don't care what he says, like, so it's alright, it's fine. I was feeling low because of the situation, because I'm wasting my potential. From there, we want to decide whether you want to communicate what you're going through, or you just want to continue pursuing your goals. And I'm usually a person who doesn't communicate. Like it's hard for me to open up when I'm inside the situation, when I'm feeling low. It's not hard, but I want to process it first. Like give me my time, and then I can open up, right? So in that exact situation, what happened is I decided to not communicate, right? I decided to process it on myself first, and I decided at that point, fuck it, I'm gonna start applying for more of the jobs that I want, and I'm gonna achieve my goals. Like, and since ever then, I just like I've been like consistently applying. I've been consistently reaching out, and it's quite nice. Like feeling low in that point, like that was fucking great because I identified that I'm wasting potential, and the solution directly is just me focusing on the goals over here. And now for you to find your actual goals that will help you to achieve your dream life, that's another video by itself. Because I personally, what I would recommend is, because I have a mentor, right? You have a dream life, right? And there is someone outside there who has achieved it. So I would recommend getting a mentor like that, because I have a mentor who achieved the life I want. So he already have a roadmap, and he already like put the points that I need to do to get there. So at that exact same point, I just knew what to do when I was like getting when I was feeling so low in that kitchen. At that point, I just decided, you know what, I will just apply whatever the mentor said like to a T, and I started being consistent. And I started getting results. Actually, I'm starting getting interviews and that. I'm gonna give you more examples so you can understand more points. But before we go to the next example, I wanna tell you it's okay to cry. Alright, don't give a fuck about what people say. Like if someone tell you to not cry, just fuck them. Alright, just say fuck you. I'm saying alright, like just joking. But crying is one way to process emotions. Like as long as you understand where is the emotion coming from, and we are not crying more than fucking 5 minutes. Like it's okay to cry 4 to 5 minutes. That's what I think, because your body sometimes need to like get the toxins out. So right, you cannot keep the pressure all inside. So you would need to cry. If someone tell you not cry, it's fine. Just tell them, don't tell me to not cry. You know what happened that day? I cried a little, yeah. But then after like 5 minutes, I mean, like I cried for 3 minutes exactly, and then after that I resumed my day like, all right, fine. Like shit happens, and I know later I'm gonna start fucking doing the shit that I need to do, what my mentor said to do. So I was like, yeah, fine. Situation happened. I just know now what I need to do in my life. I'll give you now another examples where it goes through. It could be a person that's causing you feeling low, and this is a harder one because you cannot control people, and in that situation you might just need to let go of people, and you need to let go of expectations. Okay, for me personally, I don't have expectations towards anyone, but during the time that I was going through the situations where we exchange cells with the boss, there was someone who was actually genuinely, what I think is she was genuinely caring. So she was like, don't cry. Like I felt like she was genuinely caring. All right, and she asked me to open up, but as I said, I at that point I was inside the situation, so it's hard for me to open up about it. Even though if I pull out and I see myself from outside, it's hard for me to open up because I need to know like what's the next step, and I need to focus on the next step more than trying to solve the problem. So even though she asked me like to open up about it, I couldn't, right? I didn't mean to like be an asshole about it and not open up, but it's hard for me at that point. So what happened is that created an expectation for me where like after I was feeling a little bit better, I felt like I wanted to talk about it to her. So and she created that environment a little bit where she like made me feel safe to like communicate it, because I usually don't open up, right? So I had an expectation that if I try to to communicate with her, it would be fine. But then like there is small stuff that happened that where like I just wanted to exchange contacts with her so I could talk about it and just I could feel a little bit better. But then we kind of just ended up not exchanging contacts, and I don't know the real reason, to be honest. And she just said her number has a business, and you know what, I'm not getting into details, but what happened is I start feeling low because I expected that I would be able to communicate with her and share a little bit what I need to get out of my system. I started feeling low because I couldn't. So I identified it, yeah, and I felt it, and then I isolated it. It's not hard, and it's not something that I could control. And it's a person, and it's a situation at the same time. It's like it's her and the situation. Like I don't blame her. I don't blame any person. So in that situation, in this case, where you feel like someone is causing you to feel low, someone and a situation, it's usually she doesn't mean harm, right? And so in this case, where you feel like it's person and the situation, you need to communicate with the person, right? You need to communicate with them, but at the same time, don't be like too much about it. Be genuine, just open up about it, and just let go of it. Like, don't expect anything. Okay, the way I said it, like, sorry, I don't want to speak to you because I genuinely thought that you wanted to talk, and then when I asked to talk about it, like we exchanged contact, then we couldn't. She apologized, yeah, and everything, but I had to let go of everything. I have to let go of the situation and let go of her. And even though if this happened or not, I would have like had to continue pursuing my goals. So sometimes you can just skip it. But I think when it's related to people, you just need to communicate it so that there is a bit more understanding. And when it's related to situation, you can just let go of it. But I would say the higher way to do it is you understand that situation and you understand why you feel that situation so that you can use it in the future. And I give you one more example where it's just a situation. Okay, so I'm applying for the job and I'm getting interviews, but it's not at the rate that I thought it would be. So I had a high expectation, yeah. And I'm feeling low because even though I'm doing the process, even though I'm progressing, it's a little bit like I feel like I'm not getting there yet. Even though I'm progressing and it's a good progress, I still feel like part of myself to say it's not there. So what I did about it after identifying it is I had to, and I'm isolating it, and I found it that it's just a situation. It's internal. I wanted to communicate with it with my mentor. I cannot communicate that with my family. My family wouldn't understand that because first of all, my family aren't living the dream life that we want, and it's hard for them to also like understand what I was saying. So the only person that would have understood what I'm saying, it was my mentor. All right. So I just decided to communicate with him, and guess what? He fucking gave me so much inside. I want to cry right now. Bro, he always candid about how much he make and stuff. He told me that I make so much money, but you know how much is my close rate? It's just 30%. So that's 70, 60, 80%. That's just people saying no. And he told me that your no's, when someone is saying no to you, that's okay. You don't need the 99. You just need the 1%. Like that 1%, like to say yes. So in my case, it would be like I don't need the 99. In his case, it's 70-30 because it's the closing rate. So he doesn't need that 70% to say yes. He just need 30% to say yes, and that 20%, that 70% say no. That's fine. In my case, it could be I don't need the 99% who say yes to accepting me into the job. I just need that 1%. I need that 1% who like me and like accepts me and get me into their team, right? So sometimes communicating with someone who is living your dream life, or at least in a higher level than you and you admire, will actually give you a bit more insight and a better perspective than you think. Because I felt like all I was focusing on was the nose, and I didn't know that the nose is part of the process. Like getting nose is part of the process. Even tops, he told me that even top salesmen, they get lots of nose, and say no for them getting nose is part of the process. You know, I found out one more way to feel better about my life is talk to you guys over here. I'm talking 20 minutes, which is great. And I feel a little bit better. So you see, even though I'm feeling a little bit low, I still want to make a video for you. Um, just what I want you to get from this video is identify what's your fucking reason for feeling low, and then isolate it, evaluate it. Usually it's just something external or a person or a situation. Don't lash out on any person if you're feeling low. Don't expect anything from anyone. Just communicate. Communicate either with the person that you feel like created the situation, or communicate with someone who is living your dream life if it's a situation that you could feel get better, and keep pursuing your goals. Yeah, because this doesn't matter as long as you keep doing this. Like, as long as you keep pursuing your goals, it doesn't matter what the fuck you feel, right? I love you guys, and I know no one is watching now, but hey, this is year 1, day 3 or day 4, so I don't care that much. Thank you.